It's the Stranger Nerds here with the season finale of the first season of our wonderful show, Stranger Things. I'm Connor Vandermark. I'm here with Mitchell Lee, Nick Izzo, and Tommy Grant. Almost called you Thomas there for some reason. Don't know why.
Oh,
So,
please don't get that official with me.
I know. So, Mitchell, since you missed the last two episodes, which you definitely missed because we had definitely had some discussions.
Yeah,
So, give me
So first
your.
question, Mitchell, did you get to listen to the last two episodes to know what was going on?
I didn't because my listening, my Spotify was being goofy with me this morning, and I wanted to make sure that I was fresh
You don't
listening
even
to it
listen to your
before.
you don't even listen to your own show. Ah,
Damn.
I'm more
Ouch.
inclined to listen to it when I don't have to listen to my own voice. So it's just been a busy last few weeks in the college sports world.
I don't blame you, man. I don't blame you.
So yeah, it's ridiculous, but I was happy to get my first rewatches in of these final three episodes of the first season of Stranger Things. That was nice. And how do we want to do this? Am I just giving my grades on the last two, or
I
just
would
to get that
say,
out of the way?
well, we did have a. I wish you did listen to episodes. We did have a kind of a lengthy discussion about the love triangle.
yes.
How Tommy
Oh,
puts it.
yeah.
Yes,
That's right, the
and I
patented
think
love
that
triangle.
this is kind of the point where a lot of people start to turn from the right side to the wrong side. They start to feel bad for peeping Tom over there, and they fall into the, well, this is the popular guy in a high school movie, so that means I'm supposed to hate him. And I can't necessarily blame simple minds for falling into that trap. It is what it is, and it happens. But I am above such trappings, and I have been on Team Steve since the jump, and I am Steve to the moon, as
Steve to the moon.
the Wall
Little did
Street.
you know, the rest of your team slowly betrayed you over the last two episodes, and I was successful able to convert Nick to Team Jonathan for the time being. I don't know if that's changed for episode 8, but we're, as
Here's the
far as I
thing,
know, we're
Tom.
all Team Jonathan.
Here's the thing, young Thomas.
You don't know
You might
say.
No,
you might win a few battles. I will take the war.
I mean, I did say in the beginning that I'm Team Jonathan for most of the show, but towards the end, I'm Team
See,
Steve.
I don't know. Tom is the one that went to Norwich, so like I feel like he would be the best strategist out of this platoon, if you will.
I think
Young
the word
Thomas,
is strategist.
Aren't I
Yeah,
older
strategist, not that.
Yeah,
How
I
much
said
did they?
stupidly.
How much did they teach him about the game of love? Huh?
No, he's married, so
That,
than you? And I do have a kid, so I do think I've got a leg up on that level.
congratulations. That just means you have more bills to pay than me.
Oh, you
that
have
is very
no
true.
idea. No idea.
And I would like to
Medical
keep it
bills
that way for a
alone.
little bit. But I'm definitely on team. I'm on Team Steve. I know that a lot of people, once things get violent and they start to feel bad for Steve because poor little Jonathan gets his ass beat for being a creepy perv. Come on, guys, what are we
Did
doing
Jonathan
here?
get his ass beat? I'm pretty sure it was the other way around.
Yeah, Steve got a lot of licks on that one.
Steve got a
Yeah.
little bit smacked around
Well,
there.
okay, but when they first got into it with the camera, that's kind of the first time anyone lays hands on anybody else. And so immediately there are people that are going to go, all right, I'm on Team Jonathan no matter what, because Steve was the first one to get physical. And it doesn't matter what happens from there on out. If you're the first one to do it and it's not directly called for, you lose people.
No, I definitely get that. And I would say it was for those who remember from episode 6, episode 7, I had a little snafu where I got confused with a scene in episode 7 where Steve actually decided to step up and is like, "Hey, we're being assholes. We should stop it." And no, it was with the
He's a human being.
yeah, he actually became a human being for a bit. Yeah, against
He's not it's so easy for a character like this in this type of series to become a generic bully. And I kept thinking that, watching season 6, season 7, my first time, I'm like, they're going to kill Steve at the end of this season. Either he's going to be a heroic sacrifice who figured out the error of his ways and just offed himself, or he's going to do something stupid and get himself killed. And I'm glad that they did not take either of those routes because that would be cheap and easy.
And I play the love triangle story just for shits and giggles because it's a fun little story arc to play around with as the seasons go. I am Team Steve towards the end because honestly, having seen the show, I think Steve has probably one of the best arcs in the show.
Hey, let's not. We got people. We have Stranger Things virgins.
I know,
over
and that's
here,
why I try
and
not
you
to.
need to treat them gently. You can't
Yeah.
just go balls deep. You need to
Exactly.
be gentle with them. Okay, you need to.
I wanna
rub them
see
down a little
their
bit first.
I want to see their opinions change throughout the show. But
Sweet
another
Jesus.
segment, another
Sorry, it
segment
just
you
started
missed though,
pouring
Mitchell.
here.
Yeah, it's pouring here too. But another segment you missed, Mitchell, was we created a new "What the hell would Mitchell predict this or rate this episode" segment,
Okay.
in which we all gave our own opinions as to what you would rate the episode. So
All right.
I don't know if you can see the show notes, but Connor, if
I
you want to go
can.
over our scores, and Mitchell, you can give us your official rating for the episodes.
Sure
All
thing.
right.
So for episode 6, it was a little lower than others.
Yes.
I rated it as an 8.1. Nick Izzo, that is 7.8, and Tommy at
What other Nick was
7.5.
there?
I will again.
Got Nick Cage coming on the show.
For the listeners, I don't know if we call you Izzo, we call you Nick sometimes. Majority call you Nick. So I don't know. I'm
All
making
right.
sure that
Yeah.
we clarified who we're talking about. No confusions there. So
So
it was
you
an
want-
average. It was an average of 7.8, and we guessed for that episode for you. We came in. Oh, it's actually on the episode 8 show doc. That's right.
Should he say it first to see if
We're gonna play
who's the
closest to the pin,
closest?
I guess.
Oh,
Yeah,
let's all right.
yeah,
Let's do
yeah.
that.
Or
Oh,
we're going to play.
yeah.
We're going Price's Right rules, or if we go over, you're out.
I think Price is right. Yeah,
You think Price
Let's
is right
do
the
it.
way to go?
I think so.
Let's
Yeah,
do
why
it.
not?
Well,
Why
I'm
not?
a danger.
Okay.
So to prevent any, I guess to prevent any bias, let's have Mitchell give his prediction first, or his rating
Okay.
first, and then we'll
My
say who-
prediction for my rating or what my
No,
actual rating is?
Your
Episode
rating.
6.
Ignore
I was
ignore
gonna
the
say,
first part.
Okay, my actual rating for episode 6 was 8.24.
Oh, it's just over. Oh,
Ooh.
What did I say?
7.52 is Tommy, who is the winner. Nick said 5.48, which I was definitely against because I knew that Mitchell was going to be higher in that episode. Yeah, I gave it an 8.33 for you, Mitchell, which I was pretty good on. I was happy with
It's
that.
almost like I know Mitchell pretty well.
Well,
Even
I was.
though I haven't really seen him in the past 10 years.
Hey, I was closer. I was closer. I just Price is Right rules. I missed on that.
I exaggerated my guess because I thought that you would rate it much lower, Mitchell, given the fact that Steve got his ass kicked. So
Which
that
Here's
was,
the
was, a,
thing, I don't-
which
I don't-
was a
I don't
valid
watch-
reason.
that was
I don't
the
watch
basis
these.
for
I don't
my,
watch
my
these. I don't watch these with like, oh, I'm rooting for. Like, you'll come to see in later seasons. I'm like, hey, I might like you as a character, but I think it makes sense for you to die right now. So let's get to
Okay.
chopping.
So, in my defense of you, Mitchell, since I came closest to the pin on this, I definitely, as my conversations with you, since I haven't talked to you in a while, and catching up with you now, like you're definitely someone who, especially when we talk about the movies and stuff, like you understand the separation of characters and actual elements of the show / movie that you like.
Absolutely, yeah. I don't just like.
People,
I-
the dude went to the Eras Tour movie. Props to him.
I went to. I've
would go.
seen 74 movies so far this year that have come out in the year 2023.
Are you an
And my goal
AMC
is-
A-lister?
I'm a Regal Unlimiter.
Okay, that's the
Um,
Regal one.
I'd rather do A-list, but the AMC in my town is kind of trash, so I go to the Regal instead.
Fair enough.
So yeah, been watching a lot of good things, a lot of bad things. Episode 8.
So,
this was
episode
when I
7.
went-
Hold on.
Hold
7.
on,
Okay.
hold on.
I need your
Episode
7
7, asshole.
prediction.
Don't jump ahead.
Oh,
Don't be like
sorry,
Nick.
episode 7.
Don't
Sorry,
be like
episode
Nick.
7.
Episode 7 rating.
And go
Sorry,
straight to
episode
eight.
7. Let me pull this up. Let me pull this up. Make sure I got it right.
He doesn't even know that. You keep
He,
your damn
he,
mouth shut.
he hasn't even heard
Hold
it.
on. I got an 8.95 on this one.
Oh man. So Tommy's dead on in that one.
Wait, he got the exact one.
Exact
Dead on.
button number.
8.95
Wow.
for Tommy.
Oh wow.
8,
Yeah.
8.91 for Izzo, and then I had a 9.07. That's what I guessed for you.
Yeah, I was
So I was within
very,
5. So
I was very
okay,
high
I'll
on
take
that one. It
that.
was a good
You
one.
Me and Nick were close, but I was
I'll
fucking
take
dead
within-
on.
I'll take within a
All right.
0.05.
I'm inside Mitchell's head.
That's
Something like
might
that.
be a scary place to be.
It is,
It's
but
a terrifying place to be. I'd
I
recommend you
live in a
leave.
world of terror and chaos, so it's fine.
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm taking the win in the first one. I'll say that. So
So congratulations.
Not by-
No,
not by
Tommy
prejudice.
Tommy gets it for getting the
Price is Right.
bullseye.
yeah, the bullseye was very
It's
impressive, Tommy.
true.
I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But
was
we
nice.
definitely start to gear up, so to speak, for the finale in this one. We get the confirmation that Barb is dead, and we actually get like a physical representation of Will and the upside down.
We'll get into that.
We'll talk about that plenty with the 8th episode. It was very much just kind of like I don't want to say it was a setup episode, because I feel like a lot of episodes before the finale can kind of feel like we're just setting the table for whatever the finale might bring. And this certainly has a lot of that in it, but it also is still very exciting and has a lot going on.
I just realized something. You just jogged my memory on something. I'm writing it down in my
What's
notes.
that?
We'll talk about it later.
Yeah,
Alright.
we kind of refer to episode 6 as like the breath of air before all the shit hits the fan. And
Yeah,
episode 7
it's very
kinda ramps
much
up in there.
it's the Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. It's like no one watches that movie and is like, "Wow, this is my favorite Harry Potter." But like some things needed to happen to get us to where we need to go, and now we're in Wizard Armageddon.
All right. Yeah. So
So do we want to dive into this episode?
predictions from last week.
Dive in.
Oh, yes, predictions. yes.
I've written mine down. Izzo, did you?
I did.
Wow! Look at us. We're
Dude.
doing good, guys.
Yes.
I
Mm.
did.
It's
All
almost
right.
like we're finding our rhythm at the end of the first season.
Hey, that
Yeah.
just means that
Who-
second season's going to be even better.
Yeah. It's
Mhm.
gonna be-
Maybe not
Hitting-
the quality, but the quality of the podcast.
Yes. Organization of the podcast. That's
Yeah.
probably more proper.
Let's clunk
So, so I had that. I thought Will was going to be saved, which we'll get into in a bit. I was pretty much good on mine because talk about Hopper trying to convince the lab to let him in, and like exchange info. Yeah, and then the one thing I did miss on was the whole Nancy and John trying to distract the monster from Will, but we'll get to that.
You were kind of on that.
It took a different path. Very interesting though, and I really like how the directors played that out, which again we'll get into.
Yep.
But yeah, I thought it was it wasn't like too hard to make some predictions this one because you could see where plot points are going. But I thought that still we'll get to later. I was very impressed with this episode. Izzo.
I was also very pleased with how everything played out, and my predictions were pretty vague as they usually go. But like you mentioned, I felt the events were pretty easy to predict on this one. I didn't really feel like confused with anything, so I kind of just had that Hopper and Joyce were gonna go into the Upside Down. I wasn't sure of the method, but
I
I
love
figured
whenever
that they would both go there.
whenever
And I
Nick
thought Mike was
starts.
gonna be fun.
He sounds like a butler. Whenever he starts, he's like, "Yes, I was very pleased with this episode. It was it
That'd be good.
it did the
Sorry.
dishes, and it was It got it home on curfew.
That's how it is.
For those of
I
us
thought-
listening, Nick is usually wearing a top hat and has a very twirly mustache.
And a monocle.
We call him
Indeed.
Alfred.
Yeah. I was very pleased with this episode. It gave me great satisfaction.
Mr. Wayne.
Yeah.
It's almost as if Nick skipped the whole episode and went straight to the finale.
Ooh, me?
Nick shows up to every
Who
episode, dropped
would-
like the fucking
Who would have
Monopoly
done
guy.
such a thing? Who would have done such a thing, Tommy? That's crazy. I don't know.
And it's
who
gone
would
over
do that.
Mitchell's head twice now.
What?
Nick accidentally skipped ahead and watched
Yeah,
the
I
finale
did.
before
Yeah.
episode 7.
He got confused.
Well, why the hell
Yeah.
did you do that? You know that 7 comes before 8, right?
We don't need to go into it. If you listened
You-
to the episode,
You
would
forgot
know.
how to count.
If
would
you
know.
watched the show, Mitchell,
Yeah.
you would have known all this information and you could
I
have
was
skipped over it.
very. My counting abilities were very unsatisfactory.
No, it didn't have anything to do with counting. But yeah.
He got confused and then he committed and he's like, all right, whatever.
Damn.
Oh, damn,
Damn.
you're gonna make me explain
I'm
this shit again. Okay,
I'm
ready.
so
So,
You know,
sorry.
okay, how about we'll keep
Oh,
going.
God.
Mitchell, re-listen to episode 7.
yes.
What
Or
if I
listen
don't
to
want it?
episode
What if I
7.
want you to explain it to me?
Too long. We got things to do. We're already 15 minutes
enough.
15 minutes into this
Oh, man.
episode, and we haven't started talking about the episode.
That's true.
Oh,
Let's talk about the
love
episode. then. Come
tangents.
on, guys.
Let's get into this. So, as Connor and Nick both predicted, Joyce and Hopper, they make it into Hawkins' lab, but obviously they get caught at the end of episode 7. And we start off the episode with them getting interrogated. 2 different ways. Joyce is just basically having the little chat with Brenner, which is more of Joyce just screaming at Dr. Brenner and telling him, like, hey, you fucked up on so many levels. You covered up my kid's murder, blah, blah, blah. Whereas poor Hopper's getting fucking tased and beaten to shit. And I think it's Agent Fraser is her name. She basically says, threatens to kill Hopper and make it look like a drug overdose. Which, in my mind, I'm now thinking, is she the one that made him look drugged in the first place a couple episodes ago? Did you guys pick up
Yes.
on that?
That would be.
Yeah.
I was thinking that as well.
I would think that
I
would
was
be
like,
her.
That was too specific of a, hey, this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah, exactly. Especially when it happened before, and then Hopper just goes and beats the hell out of his house looking for the camera or the wire.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, which
she's
he
definitely
ultimately finds.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, she's definitely the ringleader. But I think it was the other agent who did insinuate, but she was the one who's like overseeing things.
I don't know, because, I mean, she's the one that pulled the gun and shot Benny.
Not Benny.
No. I'm saying as when it comes to drug overdose, I don't think she's the one who actually said it. It was the other guy who had the syringe with the drug.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't think she's going to be able to fucking manhandle and drag Hopper around, so I'm sure
Yeah,
she had
I-
to remove him.
No, but like it was definitely pre-planned of like, oh, this is what we're going to try to set up here. But props to Hopper taking the initiative and turning it around on them.
Yep.
I thought he convinced them so easily.
I
I
mean,
was
it
like,
was a
really?
pretty
I was like,
easy.
that's all it took?
It also came down to Dr. Brenner's arrogance, because obviously Hopper makes a deal with Brenner, basically saying, if you let us enter the Upside Down and find Will, we'll basically not say anything about the activities that are going on here. Dr. Brenner counters and says, if you give up 11, then we got a deal. It was a ballsy move on Hopper's part, because he basically just sold out 11 for Will, who they didn't even know if he was alive at this point. So I thought that was a pretty ballsy exchange, but we see it happen. Brenner thinks
Hopper's
that
got
Hopper,
testicles, man.
he does, but I mean, Dr. Brenner also agreed, because he says as they're walking out, they're not making it out of there alive, because his guys couldn't make it out of there alive. So why would some random small town cop make it out alive with a housewife with him?
I will also say this. I think Hopper making that deal, I also think he had the confidence in the kids of like, they've got out of the shit already once, evading these guys. There's a good chance they're going to be able to do it again.
Yeah, I don't know. it's still a ballsy situation because they're literally by themselves at school, not anticipating anybody to find them. Whereas prior to that, they at least knew the government was outside the house. They had some sort of warning and idea, like, "Hey, we're being watched." Like they're just in a school, not having any clue that, like, "Hey, Hopper just sold us out, and the government's on their way to come get 11."
Yeah, like I guess the warning they had was not Dustin, Lucas, right?
Mhm.
Dustin. Actually, I think both. Yeah,
Mhm.
Lucas was the one.
No,
with him.
okay, yeah, yeah, Dustin's the one I'm thinking
Lucas
of.
radioed Dustin, and Dustin basically came in,
Yeah,
told
I was
Mike,
saying, yeah. So
You gotta
Luke, yeah,
go."
Lucas is the one who radioed in,
So
and
they at least had a little bit of a heads
heads
up of,
up,
"Hey,
but it
get the
wasn't
fuck
much
out of
though,
there."
because like the van was already there, and like the guy like ready radioed in, like, hey, the girl's here.
Yeah.
So
So
no, that was
anyway, so we basically see Hopper sell out 11, and Hopper and Joyce suit up and they go into the Upside Down, and immediately we get Joyce kind of having a panic attack because she's desperate to find Will, and they're in this creepy, scary place. And that's when we start the first of the Hopper flashbacks, which are just absolutely devastating in this episode. We see his daughter having difficulty breathing, which turned out to be the first sign of her having cancer. And we kind of throughout this episode see what happens to his daughter, and it makes me tear up. I've watched this show like 6 times now, I think, and this episode still gets me every time because it's just fucking rough to watch.
Yeah, you watch that and you kind of see like the culmination of all the episodes before of, you realize that something is, has happened in his life, but you don't really know what it is, and then until you get into the flashbacks, then for me it was like, oh shit, like I didn't realize that this all happened. So that was very intense and emotion filled scene right there.
Well, luckily for me, I didn't give a shit. No, I'm just kidding. Of course you do. Every single
You heartless bastard.
Anytime you watch something like that, you're gonna feel for the character if it's done right. And sometimes even when it's done wrong, you can end up, just getting something because of the situation. But it's acted well. It's not it's not phony. You definitely feel it. Uh, and that type of thing right there is a lot of the reason why I think that why am I blanking on his damn name?
Hopper.
David Harbour. David Harbour is
Yeah.
my quite possibly my favorite actor in this series. He's definitely the most consistent, and I think he's grown a lot over the course of these seasons. You feel a lot for this character. He feels very genuine, but he also he feels like a real person. He's not really just like a plot device to get cheap emotion out of somebody. Which there have been several shows, movies, miniseries, whatever you want to call it, that have had a dying child subplot that was there for nothing other than cheap emotion.
So we get the start of that whole emotional roller coaster for this episode. But then we cut to the wonderful love triangle of this series, where we have Jonathan and Nancy setting up traps for the Demogorgon. And Jonathan creates the infamous bat with the nails on it that we end up seeing Steve take over and become his go-to weapon of choice. So I gotta ask, if you guys are prepping for a Demogorgon fight, we know Lucas's favorite weapon is his slingshot. Jonathan goes for a bat. Nancy's got a gun. What would you guys choose? Of just basic either household items or things you could buy at a store.
Okay. I was gonna go with like a
Okay.
nuclear bomb, but I'm guessing
Nope.
that you're not gonna
You're
allow
you're a
that.
high school kid
I'm
with very
actually
limited
29,
resources and
so that's
money.
false. You're wrong.
Put yourself in their shoes. You're roughly.
Did you want to
16,
try this
17.
again?
Nope. You heard me correctly, sir.
What would my weapon be?
So we're pretending that we are the kids.
Pretending to be
Yep.
in high school,
We're-
Nick.
we're-
That's
Go back in time, Nick, to back in our wonderful high school
Oh,
years, and we
God.
got to fight some
you liked
random
high school.
monster.
You're a piece of shit. Just so you know. Um,
I mean,
at least
I
freshman
didn't like it.
sophomore
I
year.
was
If you liked
just
it,
forced to go.
if you liked freshman and sophomore year, you were not the
Well,
best person.
sorry you
Junior,
were
senior, go
stuck in
for
the
it.
South. We had a great time in high school. We were playing Fruit Ninja with real swords. We were making jackass videos. We had a great
Sure.
time.
Okay, that doesn't sound any different than anything anybody else did anywhere else.
And it was a blast.
That was not New Jersey specific. Kids being stupid is not a New Jersey thing. You think that's
It was
limited?
not stupid, sir.
You think it's
It was
limited
not stupid.
to the Garden State? No.
I don't know.
Me, whatever the hell we call this state here, it's on the tip of my tongue, but I've forgotten.
You don't even know your own state? Wow.
The Tar Heel
North-
State.
Wow.
Because it's
You're in the
stupid.
wonderful
That's
state of
stupid.
North
Look at this
Carolina.
guy.
That's
No.
a stupid name for a state.
It's North Kakalaki. Come on now.
Well,
I
now
can
we're gonna have
kick
to
you in
venture
the
into this.
face.
Where the hell
I feel
did
like
you get
you're
that name?
kind of. My God, you just set the English language back a few years. Okay, so going back to the original topic of what my Demogorgon weapon would be, Lego bricks, baby. Lego bricks.
So you
That would be a solid weapon
In
in
Home
place
Alone.
of the bear trap.
Yeah.
Just lay out a bunch of small Lego pieces across the floor because no one can deny the pain of stepping on a fucking Lego. It hurts
True.
like a bitch.
You better
That's
go on
true.
like ball bearings though.
I don't know.
I would definitely.
I
I would definitely go something more like a slicing weapon, like take like a hacksaw and like jerry rig it on top, like two of my hockey sticks or something. Like I wouldn't use a skate because that'd be kind of more.
the Canadian
cumbersome.
weapon of war, a hockey
I know,
stick.
yeah, generally speaking, yes, but I would take like a hacksaw to that, so I'd have to like some slicing.
You gonna apologize after you hit the Demogorgon?
No, I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna say sorry.
Oh, sorry, eh?
Sorry, eh?
Oh, sorry, eh? Didn't mean to hip check you, eh?
But like them having more of like a puncturing weapon instead of like a slicing weapon, I thought was very. I definitely want more slicing, try to like cut off some limbs.
I think it would have went with a weed whacker.
A weed whacker.
Yeah.
That's an interesting choice because then you'd have to
gas
reload.
pa-
I feel like that would be very limited effectiveness once that wire cuts off after hitting flesh.
I don't
Some
know, man.
weeds.
I'm in high school. What the hell am I supposed to use besides that and a knife?
Let's go with a
I have
knife.
chainsaws. You got chainsaws. I have a chainsaw in my garage.
That you
I didn't
use
have
regularly
I
as a
didn't have
high
chainsaw
schooler?
in high school.
Yeah, I had my dad taught me how to cut stuff up.
Oh, whoop de doo.
Yeah, man.
So that's where all the bodies went.
I'll use. You know what? I'll use my nunchucks. How about that?
Oh, not okay. I like it.
I feel like we're
I
not
would have
moving
to
in a
go-
positive direction.
I would have to go with an axe. Just pure blunt force. Just go in.
Well, axes are sharp too. That was my
Yeah.
number two. That was, I did consider that like a nice like long handle axe.
Oh,
Get some
yeah.
nice leverage on that.
And have a little mini hand axe in your pocket as well in case you got to drop the big one. You got to go in close for the kill.
What was that what fighting game was with the Apache in? Wasn't like Ultimate Warrior or something like that? That was like some sign shows or something. I forget what it was. I'm pulling a reference
Ultimate
probably from
Warrior
like
is a wrestler.
2010.
Okay. Well, anyway, so let's get back to the show here. So we see Jonathan and Nancy do the blood oath where they slit their palms to basically use their blood to draw out the Demogorgon, which I also thought was a bit of an odd choice. Like, did they both have to
It's
slice their hands
attracted the
open?
blood.
But did they both have to?
Hey, you shut the hell up. They both had to do it.
I feel like
I
Nancy
think
could have
they
just
both had
not
to.
had to cut her hand, and Jonathan could have been a big boy and just sliced his hand,
Nah, but they both wanted to do it.
almost as
Yeah,
if
Since you
effort.
want them to be in love so badly.
it's a
Blood
very
oath.
interesting first date. Let's put it at that. But
Blood Oath.
Yeah. blood oath, Demogorgon hunting.
They cut in.
Hey.
It was the Deadliest Warrior, the game.
Oh yes, I remember that show.
They had a pirate, the Apache, had like the
Pretty good.
gladiator. It was so much fun.
That was a good show. For us history nerds, yeah, that was a good show.
Okay, continuing back to the Blood Oath.
Yes. So so shortly after their blood oath, Steve shows up frantically knocking and screaming, which I thought was kind of odd. It was almost as if he ran there panicked. I don't know why. Why was Steve like out of breath banging on the door for Jonathan? Because I don't think he knew Nancy was there. And he was just so out of breath. Like what the fuck was with that?
He was
masturbating.
Mitchell as the Steve fanatic. I mean, what was going on in Steve's head? Why was he so out of breath and freaking out?
Maybe he's not in as good shape as we think he is. I don't know. I've got no. Maybe he's just like.
I just thought it was funny.
He's just kind of panicked. I don't know.
Why? That it was just an odd choice. I didn't understand why he was so panicked.
He's getting the vibes that.
I mean,
Jonathan's taken over this part of town.
Yeah, he is. But he came to apologize, and then he freaks out the fact that Nancy's got her hand all bandaged up. So now he's all of a sudden thinking, wait, is Jonathan like beating her on the side? Like, what the fuck's going on? So he comes storming into the house. He comes storming into the house and sees the fucking Christmas town buyer's house and kind of just goes into shock of like, is this what this kid lives with every day?
No, but he also saw like the gun and the bat too. Like at least he saw the bat
he
on
did have
the
a
table.
gun
I'm shooting her and beating her every day, which I know is not something funny to laugh about, but I just imagine them just like taking turns shooting each other and then hitting each other with a baseball bat.
All I can say is thank God Jonathan doesn't have a tripod set up. Because that would just go to a whole nother weird level for Steve.
Sure. Yep.
Sure, why not?
Not touching that.
Yeah, no. I was trying to think of something to say, and I figured maybe let's just not.
Yeah.
You're the one that's calling him a peep Tom this entire show.
What?
You're the one who's been calling Jonathan a peep and Tom the entire show.
Because he is. He's creepy McAss. Like this dude.
That's a new nickname. All right.
I don't understand how you guys can be like, yeah, that guy. I'm on his side.
Well, Nancy apparently likes him because she ends up just pointing a gun at Steve and says, "Get the fuck out."
Nancy's a dumbass who doesn't know what she needs.
I don't think anyone knows what they actually need in this show.
No.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
But least of all the teenagers.
The children.
Least of all the hormonal teenagers.
Well,
we've all been there.
She's playing both sides. Let's be real.
We make terrible choices. Yeah, she's doing the whole Bella thing, where she's like, "Yeah, I kind of want to have them both, so I'm just gonna string them along."
Is that a
Twilight
reference?
That is a Twilight reference.
That's a Twilight reference. I've seen all of the movies, and they all suck.
Never cared to
but
watch it.
I will watch anything, and I had to know, and I'm like, wow, they're really bad. And worst of all is the fact that these two dopes just kept getting strung along by Bella.
So were you Team Edward or Team Jacob?
I was Team Brawny Paper Towel Man, and that was her dad. I just wanted her dad to like leave Bella in the woods and start a new life by himself, where he's like, all right, well, I guess I just don't have any children and I can start anew. I was Team Brawny Paper Towel Man.
All right.
I'm loving these tangents.
This has been a very tangent-filled episode today.
Well, when you start talking about
what
love
episode are we on?
we
don't you know we're on
back in time. We're on 7.
We're on 7. Yeah, the last one. Yeah. Master King. He need to go back and watch Sesame Street. 1.
2.
Finale.
So
welcome that I even told you all that for a good laugh. So you're welcome. Okay. All right, y'all can shut.
You couldn't help yourself.
Yeah, I thought it was funny after.
I think it's funny too. This is the first time I've heard it, so they've had weeks to sit with this.
It's true. Literally.
So are we talking about
we're talking
Joyce
about
now?
the
we talking about love? Do we have to talk love?
we gotta
triangle
finish
more?
off the little love triangle sequence where
Oh.
the Demogorgon comes flying in through the ceiling, and they all Scooby Doo it into Will's room.
Also, no, hold on. Steve's reaction to the thing is like, "What am I seeing?" And then the Scooby Doo reaction, because that was his face's price is like, "What the hell is going on here? You guys, you both are crazy." And then out of the ceiling comes the Demogorgon. He's like, "Okay, what's wrong?"
As the lights are
'cause-
flickering, that was kind of the
'cause-
final key for him. It's just all the lights started flickering. Jonathan and Nancy are like, "Where is it? Where is it?" And he's like, "What the fuck are you guys talking about?"
And then
Everyone
the
else's goal here has been maybe they had multiple goals, but it's been like, all right, there's this thing going on. You got to figure out what it is. Steve's like, yeah, the thing going on is I want some ass, and Jonathan is getting in my
Yeah.
way of that goal. So this is just like another Tuesday for him. There's no like supernatural elements or anything like
Yeah,
that.
he's blissfully unaware until
But
this
he
episode.
wasn't there for ass because he had no idea Nancy was with Jonathan. He went to Jonathan to
He was there for
apologize.
love. Fine,
We
whatever
were
you want to
seeing
call
the
it.
start of the Steve redemption arc.
I'm not putting against Mitchell
has
here
to-
because the fact that he was trying to apologize to get better
Yeah.
on the good side of Nancy. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? And besides the redemption arc,
The,
what are
the,
we?
un- the
What are we
underlying
redeeming?
motive, the underlying motive of all this was to get ass, but
Yes.
the initial reason was not. It was to apologize to Jonathan.
it was step one to get back on good. Step one to get back to ass.
Yes,
Baby steps. Yes.
Steve Ass journey.
Steve, that's journey. All
That'll
right.
be a new,
Yes.
that'll be a new
Back.
segment.
That's
Seeking
going to be a
cheeks.
great campaign slogan. Back to ass.
That'll just be a
Uh,
new segment for the show. The continuation of the Steve Ass journey.
Oh Jesus!
All right. So they're in Will's room, and this thing does not show up. And then they're like, "Where the hell this thing went?"
Which brings up another question I have. How is this thing teleporting so fucking easily? Where is it coming and going?
Well, it's the flea.
But no
What?
portals opened up.
What? That didn't explain
fucker
anything.
The fucker just crashed through the ceiling and then it magically disappeared within the house. Where did it go?
I kind of had the same question, but I just don't know
Oh.
what.
And that
Yeah,
still goes
what
back
was
to
your
the question
answer supposed to be?
But this is back to my question that I've asked every single episode. How the fuck do these portals work? Because some of them make sense, and then some things happen and it just makes no sense. And that's one of the few things with the show that bothers me in the
Hey
first
man,
season.
it's magic.
I that's the only way I can explain it, I guess, but I don't know.
I'm kind of with you on that. There's a
I
lot.
need
of
a
just,
little
like.
I need a little bit of rules to understand like this is how things should work.
Well, then you might want to stop now because
Yeah.
it
This
only
doesn't
gets a
seem
little
like
bit
the show
more.
for rules.
No, it's a lot of
That's,
just
that's
like
my only major grievance with the show, at least the first season. It's just the whole portals and how things travel back and forth make no sense to me.
there's a
but-
lot of like, well, it can just happen this way now, so just
Yeah.
roll with it.
Hand
And
waving.
a lot of times it's very easy to just say, well, you know, this is a fun set piece, or you know, this is taking our characters on an interesting journey, so I will roll with it. And I think that is something that, in lieu of having like stringent rules, they've done a good job of making it so that whatever is going on is so interesting that we're not thinking about that quite as much until some assholes like us get on a podcast and start nitpicking it.
Should that be our new podcast name? Assholes Like Us.
ALU.
It's not bad. I dig it.
That'd be fitting.
Oh, don't tempt me. All right. All right. So let me cut.
How's this logo?
It'll be did you guys ever see The Community?
Yes.
I've
It'll be
seen
Yeah.
it.
it'll be the school flag. E
Yes.
pluribus anus. All right, back to the show. So we get a little mini scene of Joyce and Hopper exploring the Upside Down, and it's a little tie back to what Connor's been trying to figure out this entire show, the significance of the stuffed animal, why it has showed up multiple times. It's an emotional string that has no significance to the show, but that little stuffed animal lion was seen in Castle Byers, which they see it again in the Upside Down. We saw it on Eleven's bed, and Hopper looked at it weird, and we didn't know why. Now we know. It was the same stuffed animal that his daughter had in the hospital when she was going for treatments. We see the same stuffed animal on the bed. So, Connor, that was the significance of that little stuffed lion.
Huh. But I thought it was very interesting that it kind of popped up in that weird spot in Eleven's place.
Yeah, I think it was just an odd coincidence, but I think they only placed it there for the fact of Hopper to see it, just to kind of get that look for us. It was almost a little bit of a red herring for us to think it was something important.
Yeah.
But it was important to Hopper because of his past. It reminded him of his daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And in this sense, it's kind of ironic because he's trying to find this new kid, Will, and he's trying to save this kid, the kid that kind of resembles his daughter who he was not unable to save. So it's kind of a little emotional cue there. But it was a quick little scene. We got another flashback, with Hopper and his daughter going through treatments. And then we cut back to the love triangle fighting the Demogorgon this time. Steve leaves the house, sees the lights flickering again, and Steve has the badass moment of, I'm going to go back in and help. So yay, Steve. I'm sure that was a big win for Mitchell.
I want to cut in on this because the one thing I mentioned from, like I kind of alluded to earlier with episode 6 or episode 7, that is, like Murray screwing up, with him and Tweedledee and Tweedledum, where I always get their names. It's just, to me, insignificant.
Tommy and Carol.
Yeah. When Tommy goes to him, is like, "Oh,
I'm just insignificant to everybody."
Of course you are. Quote, "Run away like you always." Talking to Steve, saying, "Run away like you always do," and he was ready, like, to get the hell out of there. Well, plus also, Nancy was like, "Get the hell out of here too." And props to him to get back in the buildings. Like, screw it. Like, that was like some badass bravery right there. And like, just he's scared out of his mind, like not knowing what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
And he got in there and picked up that bat and went clubbing, baby. It was great.
Oh.
Now, which one of those two would you want to fuck?
Skills.
Look, Jonathan was a scrappy fighter. I gave him that in a fist fight, but come weapons involved, Steve's got the skill behind the bat.
Yeah,
it's Steve all day. Like, Jonathan with a bat would not have been nearly as effective as Steve was. No, Steve was doing little fancy twirl moves. He was like Captain America with Thor's hammer. He was just beating shit left and right.
All right, let's not go crazy.
That's a little too much there. But
a little too much there. But
I'm just trying to hype up Steve. I'm just trying to hype him up. It was a badass.
You don't need to bring down the other Steve to lift up this one.
It's the power of the name, man.
They can both coexist without
the power of the name
besmirching anybody.
So put in the bear trap, which surprisingly worked. Okay, one thing that I get at the same time question was, like, why set it up in the house, the trap itself? Like, keep it in tight quarters, maybe? Because
it could have just been more of a safe,
more people in
secure thing for Jonathan and Nancy. Because if you were fighting a monster, would you feel more comfortable fighting it just outside where it's just wide open, or in a house where you've grown up and it's like that? That's your safe place. You know it like the back of your hand.
But also going to put Leatherface.
And there's walls and doors. There's also stuff you can throw in the way. There's walls.
You want to limit the space. Which I can also see being a negative, but at the same time, like, you don't want to have to, like, survey a bunch of different, I don't know.
Oh,
you want the self, like, you just want to have something to hide behind, even though it has no safety value. It's just the knowledge of knowing you have something you can hide behind, even for a second. Whereas if you're just outside, you got nothing.
It was more so the decision of, like, I'm going to put gasoline inside my house and light it on fire. Like,
when you say it like that, it sounds stupid.
Exactly, and that's how I was thinking. Like thank God they had the fire extinguisher there, but I was like, if that thing didn't die, it was still burning and still screaming, and are you guys let the whole house go on fire, and there goes your home?
I mean, look, the Byers house has taken quite a few beatings this show. You've got phones blowing up, you've got Joyce axing through a wall, you've had a monster come through a wall. It's just a matter of if it burns down, it burns down. I'm sure it'll be built right back up for next season. It takes hit after hit. So Jonathan just didn't care at this point.
Mm-hmm.
He seemed to be perfectly okay with just, like Mitch said, just, lighting it on fire, doing whatever it took to kill the monster.
I mean, at the same time, he wanted to get revenge for his brother. So if he could take this thing down, that's what he was going to do. And also the fact of staying in the house, you have that narrow hallway to trap it. If you're outside, it's going to be a lot harder to trap into a bear trap. That might be the other reason why they chose to try to burn down the house.
They were quite resourceful for the tools that they had.
Yes.
They were.
I just love when they went to the store, though, and then that guy was like, so what's this for? I mean, we kind of touched on that already, but like just them getting all that stuff, it's like they were pretty resourceful.
Monster hunting.
Monster hunting.
So we have them finally defeating the Demogorgon, but it doesn't die, but it definitely flees back to the Upside Down, and we see kind of a little bit of a blood trail. But here comes another weird part, is where they see the lights that are, as the viewers, we know it's Joyce and Hopper in the Upside Down going through the house. And Jonathan kind of picks up on, like, I think that's my mom. And he says, Mom. And then Joyce hears him from the Upside Down calling her. So was there a portal inside the house that we just don't see? It's another gripe. I just don't understand how it works. How can all of a sudden you can just hear... So it was almost like the Bad Force scenes from the new Star Wars trilogy, where you just magically hear people talking.
Well,
Force ghosts, man.
we got
Don't
the
talk that shit about the new Star Wars movies, though. Except for Rise of Skywalker, I will allow slander on that.
Look,
Absolutely.
next thing you know, you're going to see Jonathan put the bat behind his back, and Joyce picks it up in the Upside Down.
What's wrong with that?
There's a lot of things wrong with that. But
well,
let's not do a Star Wars
tangent beyond that.
Ignore me. We're not doing a Star Wars tangent. That will take too long.
Yes, it will. I've been through that already multiple times in my life with you.
Yes.
So we see before Will where Will has heard. We have heard Will's voice. I'm sorry. Yeah, we heard Will's voice before in the house.
Yes, it was when Joyce heard his voice through the wall, and that's when she decided to break down the wall.
But there was no portal set up there yet.
No.
So
that's what I'm saying. It makes no sense of how it all operates and works. Because we see the flesh of the Upside Down, but we don't see the actual portal for her to go through. But like you get that like orange coloring in the wall.
Yeah.
That's what we see.
Well, maybe we'll find out in the future.
Maybe. But anyway, so after that, we cut to the party, who is just left all by themselves to fend for themselves at the school.
Hunting for pudding. I love that. Like, Dustin's one of my favorite characters in this show, and I just felt myself in him this episode, where it's just like, you know what? We're in a life or death situation. Let's go find the pudding that the snack lady's hoarding to see if it's actually being hoarded. And he goes on a little side quest, and he was victorious in finding the chocolate pudding stash, which was fucking hilarious. But
yeah,
I
loved every bit of that.
Nothing.
I was not a big pudding kid, so.
So if you were stuck in a high school, like what would you have gone snooping around to find then? You would just sat around doing nothing, or would you go snooping for something?
I mean, it's a high school. There's not really much I'm interested in
As
a high schooler.
Snapple.
I mean, I was trying to avoid saying that because I didn't want it to sound like 29-year-old Mitchell was doing that. I was in high school, as a high schooler of high school age.
We're old, Mitchell. Get used to it.
Well, yeah, no, I'm fine with that. Shit, I'm more than okay with that. I'm just trying to make sure that I sound like I'm not like,
I
what's
would have
up,
started.
young
I
kids?
would have started with the deep fryer and made some tater tots.
You would have gotten someone killed.
I would have not. I would have
You
made
would have
delicious
gotten.
tots for everybody.
That's what you would have done. Hey, everybody, come eat my tater tots. Ew, get away from that kid.
No, I walk into the gymnasium and be like, I got tots, motherfuckers. Who wants some?
He would say that.
You'd say it just like that. I know
He would
that.
say it just like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's honestly, that's
I would
pretty
agree.
par for the course for him.
Yeah.
So aside from my lovely tater tots, I would imagine make you guys in this new universe we've made. We have Mike and 11 having their little heart-to-heart moment. And Mike is just digging himself into a weird hole in this conversation where he says that, hey, 11, you can live with us after Will's found and everything goes back to normal. And 11's like, oh, like a sister? And he's like, no. And it's like, you're asking your parents to adopt this girl to basically make her your stepsister.
Man,
or
that would be
By
however
far the
dynamic that would
Yo.
work.
by far
horrible.
the cringiest shit I had to see. And
Yes.
I actually skipped through part of the conversation because I said,
That's cheating.
"Fuck
That's
this.
cheating.
This
That's cheating.
is so cringe. I can't watch this anymore." So
That's cheating.
I had to skip to the end of that
I
specific.
feel like you've got to
conversation.
dock some points from your grade just because of that.
I don't
Yep.
care. I don't care.
Yeah, you have to.
Connor, did you have any cringe during the scene?
Honestly, I was pretty okay with this one because, like, I thought it was endearing by Mike to try to convey what he was thinking. Like, I didn't think it was that cringy, and I've seen much more cringier stuff than this, and I thought it was honestly kind of cute.
The delivery. Yes, there was something where just taking those lines on the page, if you deliver them in a certain way, it can be kind of creepy. But Finn Wolfhard, I think he peaked in his acting abilities at like what was it? He 12, 13? Because I think that he peaks in the first 2 seasons of the show and then in it.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I think that he
1 and 2
kinda-
and
he-
Ghostbusters. He was in Ghostbusters too. The remake.
Yeah, but he looks weird, man. He's a weird looking dude.
yeah,
He's a strange looking guy.
yeah. Connor and Nick, you have a lot to look forward to in the evolution of Mike throughout the show. He just he does not age well.
He just looks like if
Good to know.
if a stick came to life
No, you know what he looks like? He looks
and
like
just
an
started
awkward.
growing. Like if like let's say like your sister or something just took all the shower, all the hair that was on like the shower wall and put it on a stick, like a little popsicle stick. That's
Like,
Finn
really?
Wolfhard.
like
Honestly,
very-
I imagine him being a younger, awkward version of Adam Driver.
Yeah, like if Adam
Okay.
Driver was just like, yeah,
That's pretty
completely, yeah. That's actually a really good comparison. 'Cause
Thank
they're
you.
both weird looking people, but Adam Driver is like,
Badass.
yeah, like he's figured out a way to make it work for him. Finn Wolfhard hasn't done that yet, and maybe it's because Finn Wolfhard is still like in his 20s. Like he's still like a really young guy, whereas Adam Driver's had time to like be like, I'm a weird looking motherfucker. I got to figure this out.
He's definitely been typecasted as the awkward, nerdy teenager.
Yeah,
yeah.
he has.
I think
And
he's
he
kind of
might not ever get out of that.
He might not. But
He's gonna be 47 playing the awkward teenager.
I'll just Google what this dude looks like right now after
He's a weird looking dude.
talking about him.
Yeah, you should. Let's
He's
all
an
wait for.
odd looking guy. Like I look at him and it's just like, the hell kind of species is this? Like I don't want to be mean, but like,
Well, let's hope. Let's hope Finn Wolfhard never hears this conversation. We can
he's
now
old.
look forever ask
Finn
him to be-
Wolfhard has more going for him right now than I ever will. So like,
I see what y'all mean.
I
Yeah.
would not say Adam Driver though. That's a completely different phase.
he looks like if a popsicle
I'm
wanted
not
to become
saying
a
we're
real
fucking
boy.
twins. I'm just saying that's the best comparison I can think of in terms of famous people.
No,
But
I get it. No, especially this picture I'm looking at right here. That is like Adam Driver. If Adam Driver and Timothy Chalamet had a kid,
oh
but it
my
was
god,
like, but it was like
yes,
1% Timothy Chalamet and 99% Adam Driver. Like you
yeah.
definitely got the wrong genes from that one.
All right. So enough trashing on Finn Wolfhard
I
for
love
the
Finn
time being.
Wolfhard. Again, I said that this season he's got a lot more on his shoulders in these 2 seasons than he does in some other ones.
So we have the
That I've called.
monumental awkward kiss of the season. Mike lands 111 and just runs off. He pulls that little shy kid and just runs off. Sees a car pull up thinking it's someone else. And oh shit, here comes the government, baby. Dr. Brenner rolling in hot. And oh shit, things go down. People being chased around, people's heads getting squished from the inside. What did you think of that whole chase scene? Connor and Nick.
It
Uh,
definitely
you,
ramped
Mitchell.
up from 0 to 100 mad quick. I was not expecting all the blood and gore. I had to say, like right away, but I very much, liked their stick to itiveness to try and kill the Demogorgon, and it just failed so miserably.
Yep. It was very interesting. Like this is where I really fell in love with the show because they just had a episode where it's been kind of a slow paced episode so far. Nothing big's been going on, and then all of a sudden the body count just goes from 0 to like 8 or 9 within a minute. I mean, I don't know the exact number of people Levin killed in that scene, but I think it was at least 4 or 5, maybe more than that. And then the Demogorgon just comes in and just starts killing everybody else. The body count just rose.
well, the because Brenner came in before that, before the was it before Brenner came in? She killed them, correct? Remember correctly? Because she passed out.
Brenner, I mean, obviously Brenner showed up with everybody, but it was the female Fraser who
No,
kind of came in with the main crew.
I just wanted to just make the point of like, oh, her actually like, no, at first saying, oh, that's Papa, but like the was like, oh, I want to go with Mike. Like, screw you, you're bad. Like, and he sort of realization like, oh, she's turned on us. Like, she doesn't want to. No, she sees us as the enemy now. This is not good. And then the Demogorgon came at the perfect time for him to get the hell out of there, or at least try to escape. But
Yeah,
that was the first time. That was the first time the kids had actually seen her kill someone. Correct?
Assuming she didn't kill anybody when she flipped the van, yes.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
the first time. Yeah, it's the first time they've seen it, but it's not the first time we've seen it.
Yeah, because we've seen it before multiple times.
Yeah.
The fact that she was able to do that and just like, nonchalantly kill 6 people all at once. That's pretty.
Yeah, and that's where we see her powers kind of amplify, and that was a really cool oh shit moment because in the past when we've seen it, she basically snapped the neck of like 1 or 2 guards, and like that basically wiped her out. And here she literally just squeezed the brains of like 6 agents at the same time, pulled the ultimate like force choke move on all these guys. That was such a cool scene. And then she is just down for the count. And that's when Brenner kind of stands over her and basically asks her to go with him. And that's where she refuses. And then the Demogorgon comes in and just kills everybody. And that's where they get away. And we cut back to Joyce and Hopper in the Upside Down. And they follow a trail of blood. They find a bunch of people dead, which I'm guessing are those missing hikers that they mentioned in like the first or second episode when Hopper was told about those random missing people. And then we find Will with a giant tentacle down his throat. Some nasty shit.
It was long too.
Yeah,
It was like a snake.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just it was gross, but
He just kept pulling it out. I'm like, oh.
it,
Yeah,
it
I
was
thought it was
it was
going to
the
be a
clown.
lot shorter.
It was the clown trick gone wrong. It's
Yeah,
just it's not
the
something you
rope,
want to see.
the handkerchief,
Yeah,
handkerchief. Yeah, that's a word.
yeah. It was just a slimy handkerchief. But then we go back to another devastating scene is when he pulls it out and starts doing CPR on Will and just keeps going to flashbacks of watching doctors perform CPR on his daughter as she's dying. And that scene just that was the scene that gets me every time because it was just you see Hopper just break down. And that's definitely the cause of what him and his wife just couldn't recover from. Is they just probably couldn't emotionally recover from the fact that they've lost their daughter in such a devastating way. And we see Hopper just so determined to not lose Will in kind of the same fashion. So he's kind of doing that TV show moment of just like magically doing CPR where the person survives. And I think of Lost every time when I think of these things. I don't know if you guys have ever watched Lost,
I have not.
I
That
have
was
not.
Long time ago. Yeah.
but I don't know if you remember that like in the first season when Dominic Monaghan's character Charlie is like dying and Jack just starts like pounding on his chest.
Yes, that's
And
every
then he
time,
just
every movie or show
that's
that's
what
a
I'm saying. It's
CPR.
just that cliche moment of like, if I just do CPR hard and long enough, they'll come back to life.
Oh my god. It's like they think that like punching down harder is for some reason the way that
And,
that the
and it's just
person
like,
just goes
as someone who's done CPR multiple times, it's like it's not how it works.
no, that's not how it
That's
works.
how it works, ladies and gentlemen. That's all you need to know.
It's a little bit of Hollywood magic that brings people back to life, but it's just I was just waiting to see Hopper just start pounding on his chest,
Oh, and
saying,
then
"He
he
will
did.
not die on me."
Such a
But
cliche line too.
yeah, exactly. But Hollywood magic, Will comes back to life. And it's that little magical moment. They put the oxygen mask on him, and it's like, all right, Will's alive. And cutting back to the group, the Demogorgon pins him down, and 11 comes in, basically comes back to life, pins the Demogorgon up against the wall, just vaporizes them both. Were
So
you guys
sad.
expecting that?
Definitely not.
Because that
How
was
they-
definitely another oh shit moment in this episode.
how they directed that was fun though. It was like they made it first seem like it was Lucas's slingshot,
Yes.
which was great. I'm like,
I loved watching that too. Just like it's like that's the last line of defense. Just a little slingshot, little pebbles.
shooting rocks at him. Like I was like, is it gonna get in his throat and like make him choke? Like yeah, that was like the thought I had, and them did shit. But like 11 doing the ultimate sacrifice and like no going oblivion on him and
It was
taking
kind of
herself
that
out at the same time.
Hollywood. Yeah, it was kind of that Hollywood thing too, of where like I don't know if he was exactly down to his last rock, but like
But they had
always
more.
do, like okay, all right, so they had more. So like they always do like that zoom in, like close
Yes.
shot where it's like, oh, I'm gonna get this.
Well, I think I could be completely wrong, but I think that rock was probably that rock that they picked in that episode where the rock
Will died.
they're like, this is the one, like this is the right one.
Yeah.
That was probably the rock, and that's why they did that little intense moment. But going back to you, Nick, with the whole like Hollywood movies, that scene reminded me of Saving Private Ryan at the very end, where Tom Hanks' character is just shooting the tank with a handgun,
Yeah,
and it just blows up, and he's
then
like, "Holy shit, how did I blow that up?"
You're led to believe that he just blows up a tank with a freaking like Colt.
Like that scene
Oh,
plays
man.
out almost like frame by frame the same way, just from a different angle.
Yeah.
But it was just a cool scene. So we see 11 come out of the corner, just holding him up, and she gives that like very sad turns around moment, looks at Mike and says goodbye, and then vaporized.
Yeah, she ain't gone.
No, you don't think so?
No way. Nah, no way.
Nah,
Too easy.
Connor?
nah, she's well, we'll get to later, but yeah, she still kicking
Yeah.
around.
Yeah, that'd be way too easy, and I'm still sticking to my Walking Dead theory of if we don't physically see her like not
But we
breathing,
did. We physically saw her vaporize.
it doesn't matter. Nope, don't matter.
Ego say
Don't matter.
otherwise.
Stranger
She.
things have happened, Tommy.
Oh, don't you
So,
drop the name of the show on me. Don't you do that. Don't you pull that move on me, Ricky Bobby.
Oh, man.
Mitchell, I'm disappointed you didn't get that reference.
Oh, he got it.
I got it. I just hate Talladega Nights.
Oh, fuck you.
Horrible. I don't like Will
Damn.
Ferrell.
Nope. We're moving on. I'm not.
Yeah.
Talladega Nights is a horrible movie. Anchorman
we
is
gotta-
wildly overrated.
We gotta wrap this up and
Step Brothers is
individually
tolerable.
drive to
Mitchell, stop
Mitchell's
talking.
and beat him
Connor,
up.
mute his thing. I'm done. I'm done talking to Mitchell.
Don't even get me started on that bum
Unbelievable.
Adam Sandler.
You were just picking a fight tonight.
I'm just making sense
Who
tonight.
pissed
You
in
don't want to
your-
hear it.
your Cheerios?
Yeah, really.
Unfunny people that think they're funny by doing the same shit over and over again. And think that just by doing it louder means I'm gonna laugh more.
I really hope the Jets get their asses kicked on Friday. That's the only way I can get justice.
Really?
on you.
That's your wild dream? That's your big
Yes.
fantasy?
I
That
have no
happens
other-
every week.
I have no other way to emotionally hurt you right now other than just to hope that the Jets lose.
Oh yeah, you do. But maybe they'll delay Dune 2 again.
No.
Oh, because I'm really concerned about that.
I am. You want my pain. Have you forgotten your goal here, dummy?
That,
Is-
that put pain-
Is
that puts
Dune,
pain
is
on
Dune
me.
your top? Is Dune 2 the top commodity that you're looking for right now?
As far as movies go, yes.
The book
That
is
was the
very
movie I was looking forward to most this year, and they moved it to March.
Aw,
It was supposed to come out like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, boo-hoo.
little tears.
Yeah.
This is the world's smallest violin.
Butler Izzo has now performed a little orchestra for you. Is this orchestra to your satisfaction?
Yeah. I'm not delighted
This is-
enough.
This has been a deranged,
pleased?
derailed episode today, people.
It is.
It is.
Look, this is what happens when we start recording at 11 o'clock at night. I don't know.
We should start recording at like 7 in the morning and see what happens.
Let's do it.
Nick with a
All right.
cup of Joe, just like pip pip.
Pip pip cheerio. So, we end this episode with Christmas Eve. We're gonna skip over the whole Mrs. Wheeler showing up to the fucking school. Of all people, I was
Oh,
like,
you
why
skipped
is-
Will in the hospital.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
It's not Christmas Eve.
Oh, all right. Sorry. We get a little Lord of the Rings moment where Will wakes up in the hospital and all of his little Hobbit friends come to cheer that he's
That's
alive.
exactly what I thought during that part.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Nick can always come to my aid for Lord of the Ring references, and I love it.
I was waiting
Mitchell,
for.
are you gonna tell me you don't like Lord of the Rings now?
No, I love Lord of the Rings.
Oh, thank God. Okay.
All
I
right,
like
redeem
good
yourself in
movies.
there. I
just-
thought Mike was gonna forget one of the just forget someone's name like Frodo forgets Legolas.
That we can't go into this tangent.
No,
We're not
no,
going to.
no. Back
We're
back on rails. Back on
We're not
rails.
going to. I thought that like he was gonna like kind of be not. I don't want to say incoherent.
all right,
but
All right,
I
the
thought he was
only
gonna be
person that could have
confused.
filled the role of Legolas would have been Steve. If Steve was just standing in the doorway, and they just nod to each other, that would have been the perfect Lord of the Rings reference right there.
It's
But
true.
we carry on. So Will has a little moment, and then he starts coughing. They all kind of look at him like, "Oh shit, you were sick. Oh, poor little Will." But he pulls through. And after that, we see Mike or slightly before that. Sorry, we see Mike depressed about losing 11. We see Nancy depressed about Barb. So we kind of see the Wheeler kids kind of going through their little emotional setbacks because they both lost somebody and they didn't get them back. But we got Will back, so that's all that matters. So after that, we see Hopper get pulled up by a car outside the hospital. What do you guys think that was about?
Well, that's more
That
so
was-
like
That was
He-
pretty a sketchy moment.
They didn't expect him to survive in the first place. So, and I'm assuming
Yeah.
Brenner's dead, or I'm assuming he is. But of course, to Izzo's theory of if we didn't see him die, we don't know he's dead.
That's
Okay.
right.
So
Um,
let's backstep real quick for a second. Connor and Nick, do you both think Dr. Brenner is dead?
my assumption right now is yes, but I don't.
No.
Connor,
My
Connor's thinking
assumption
that.
is yes,
Nick's
but
sticking with the Walking Dead theory of no.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
put money on it.
Yep.
Okay. All right. That's important to note. So continue with the next part. What was up with Hopper in the car?
But like,
I
yeah,
thought. Oh, my bad.
they were. Sorry to cut you off. They because the fact that he is the really, as we know of, the only person who really survived, as well as Will's mom, of like actually exploring the Upside Down. Of course, they want to know what the hell he did. So like that to me was just why wouldn't they want to get that information from him?
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty much what I was gonna say. I feel like once he took that last drag of that cigarette, he kind of just had a, you know what, I better just kind of go with them, because I would think for him, he would probably think that even if he tried to like just go home, they would probably just kind of follow him and probably just bother him until they got the information. And yeah, like Connor said, I feel like that's valuable intel for them. So why wouldn't they try and pick him up?
Okay. So now it's Christmas Eve. We get a little flash forward. This is the very end of the episode. We've got the boys playing another episode of Dungeons and Dragons in their basement, and they're now fighting the Thessal Hydra. And Will takes him down with his little fireball spell. Do you think that's any foreshadowing for what's to come? Since we know what happened in the beginning of the season with Will losing to the Demogorgon, now they're fighting a Thessal Hydra. Do you think that's any foreshadowing for what's to come?
Obviously,
Yes.
like
Absolutely.
Because I'm going to ask you guys at the end with our prediction for season 2. So think of that while we're talking about the rest of the episode real quick. We see Jonathan pick Will up. So obviously the buyers are no longer taking any chances with Will riding his bike home. They're picking him up every time, which I thought was pretty funny.
do not blame him. Do not.
Don't blame him at
Also, too, he's like, I'm assuming he just got out of the hospital a month later, so like he's still probably not the 100% tip top shape.
Yeah, but I mean, after going through that ordeal, I'm sure he's never going to be left alone for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
Justifiably so. And then we get, right before they leave, Nancy comes down and gives Jonathan a present. And in the car, he opens it up and it's a camera. And who is it from but sweet old Steve? Very heartfelt moment. Steve came through. And then we go a little farther forward and we see Hopper driving on Mirkwood. And we see him place a box of Eggos in a lockbox. Thoughts on that?
I mentioned the Eggo. I think, well, Hopper, it's been a month. Hopper knows something.
Yeah.
So I think L is still kicking around somewhere.
Okay.
Hence the Eggo / also food for L. Also, you cut over I made a mention of it, and the fact that Nancy still like kissed Jonathan on the cheek.
Yeah. The love triangle continues, baby.
I was saying, like, Nancy's the one who's like playing both sides here. I'm like, what the hell are you
She
doing?
just sits right back with Steve.
And
it just makes Mitchell's blood boil.
I was like, girl, what are you doing? Like,
It's
Pick a
very
side.
Twilight. It's very Twilight. And I don't like that shit.
I agree.
So before we go to the final episode, we gotta get our final confirmation.
hold on. I'm making one more thing though. We missed the whole
We're-
part.
we're not
about Will.
We're not finishing yet. We're not
Oh, no.
finishing yet.
I'm saying you don't want to miss this part because I have thoughts.
We are covering this scene. Don't worry. I'm talking about the love triangle aspect.
Oh, go ahead. Yes.
Connor and Nick, are you team Steve or team Jonathan come the end of this season? The people want to know.
Do
Mitchell's
I
dying
have to
here.
pick? Do I have to pick on a team?
Yes, because Mitchell's whole well-being right now rests on the fact that you guys pick Steve and not Jonathan. So I want to see.
No,
what
it's
your
just
team-
like the
Can I pick a third option?
yes.
I'm team anti Nancy.
Yay.
you know
I
what?
would. I would like to join that team. Actually, if
Because
there's
she's
a
playing-
petition for
she's-
that team, I'll join.
She's playing both their heartstrings, and I don't like it. Like
Yeah.
Okay.
she's stringing them both along.
We
and
have a
it's
couple of
fun.
Rumble
Y'all should both go fuck someone else, and Nancy should just be like,
Go figure
maybe
your
I
stuff
should just
out.
make a decision one way or the other, and then I wouldn't be by myself.
Yep.
Well,
Be an adult first.
True.
maybe we'll be introduced to some more new female characters because Barb is dead. Carol's taken by Tommy, and we have not seen really any other female characters in the show yet.
That's very true.
That's true. That's a good point.
So we'll see what happens. So Connor and Nick are now both anti Nancy and are refusing to pick a side. So
Yeah, because
now we get to our final scene. Christmas Eve dinner at the Byer household. Jonathan's documenting everything on his brand new camera, thanks to Steve. And Will gets up, goes to the bathroom, has a little PTSD moment, flashes back to the Upside Down, spits up a slug, which is definitely part of the little tentacle thing that they pulled out of him. What the fuck do you guys think is going on right now? Because this is a scene that plays a big part into what's to come in season 2. I won't say anything more, but this was a very important scene.
well, it wasn't until Mitchell. I keep seeing your thing. It says Jeff. I'm like, why is Jeff going in my head?
He's always
Thanks,
Jeff.
Mitchell.
He's
for our
always
Always
listeners.
Jeff for the second recording of the week.
Yes. So we have a little. You can enter a little name into your screen. And Mitchell is Jeff. So as
Oh,
Mitchell
Jeff is
said,
Jeff.
Mitchell brought up earlier about Barb, and that triggered the memory of when we first saw Barb when 11 was under the water. And I had in my show notes like, oh, like what the hell was with her mouth? Like, was that her tongue or something? No, that was a slug. And I was like, oh, he puked that same thing out. I was like, oh my god, like, has he been like, is there a parasite now in him, and he's the host of something else, or is he going to create more demigorgons? Or I am because like the thing with them, I know we touched on it, but like where they found the body was a library, and that where the bodies were, it was like a nest, and like that was it was their home base of everything there is. We saw the egg there, so there's a very good chance there's definitely more of them sitting around. So like,
Oh, I completely forgot to even mention that egg, but yeah, good point.
like there definitely could be more demigorgons because of course the one that we saw in the school was pretty much not healthy. It looked like, and it wasn't trailing any blood around. So they have a method of reproducing. So, and the thing too is like with Will, was it a flashback or was it him like shifting through the planes? And because again, we don't know how portals work, and he could have an ability, something that the Demogorgons have, where they can just flip back and forth. Who knows? It could be a
So-
separate ability.
So you think Will could possibly be a flea now?
I think he might be able to be a flea. Like there's what movie is it where like the main character is like, exposed to something from a different world, and he gains that ability from that world. There's something like that.
There's a lot of movies like
There's
that.
a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like
Yeah.
any origin.
Well,
It's
that
just
kind
like-
of
John Carter.
that kind of trope.
You
So
could
like,
you could almost even reference Venom at this point. I think Venom could be
Yeah.
a good interpretation of it.
Both the movie I
Eh.
picked and the movie you picked are terrible.
I didn't
honestly,
think it was a good movie. That's the best thing I
Yeah,
can think of in terms
that's
of.
true.
Honestly, the first thing that came to my mind was Dune again because we just had it on our mind in the first place.
What?
Well, as in with the spice, um, like
Makes their eyes blue.
well, it unlocks the next. I won't spoil anything, but like,
Don't spoil anything. I will
I know.
jump over my computer and
Connor, please spoil everything right now.
Hold on, you haven't not read the book?
no. I don't
Oh.
read. I don't read books until after the movies come out. When they're
Okay.
based, when I know that there's movies coming out. Like for example, I didn't read the Hunger Games books until after those movies were done because I didn't want anything spoiled for me. But when I go back, I can find new things and more details. It's more interesting to me that way.
So
Right,
my
well-
reference now, so I know where did Dune. I never seen the Dune movie yet. It's on. I'm gonna have it on my list of movies to watch with the next.
Very
one.
good.
Well,
Very
where
good.
where did it leave off?
It left off after Timothy Chalamet like kills his first person, and he goes off to like be one with the Fremen.
Okay, yeah,
He's,
okay.
like fully adopted. Like I want.
All
I
right.
don't want to like.
We're
I
we're
want to be part
slowly
of it.
losing Nick here to sleep.
I know.
We're
I
back to the
Let's-
No, it
show.
was
Let's
me to
finish.
sleep.
It's
But
12:30.
sorry. I didn't mean to. I didn't spoil anything really too much, but like,
Nick, what's your prediction as to what's happening to Will?
Honestly, I mean, very similar to Connor. I've played many video games to kind of make the prediction that in a lot of the stuff that I've played, like when there's like that weird tongue thing in Will, or sorry, in yeah, my bad, in Will.
Yeah, the slug thing.
Um,
in Will.
Yeah, so like when that's in him, like right away that just screamed like host body parasite to me. So in very similar to what Connor said, like I feel like he I don't know if he is becoming one, but I think that slug has infected him in some way that I also had the same question. I don't know if he can like shift through now, but it seems like he's gonna probably have to battle some inner demons.
So you and Connor
my
are kind of
guess.
in agreement in the fact that you think that he's possibly now a host, and
I
now
think he's
has
a host to something, and he's gonna have to battle like some inner demons.
okay.
That's my prediction for what's to come.
I like it. I had a few more questions, but at this point, I think we should just kind of wrap things up because we are pushing an hour 30.
I want to also make one prediction too. I think that Hopper is
Okay.
now going to be teaming up more with the federal agencies.
Okay. Well, I was going to ask predictions for season 2, so we'll put that into there.
Okay, cool.
So let's skip ahead real quick to predictions for season 2. Connor, you want to expand any more?
Well, because of the fact that like he obviously has some information that Elle is alive, so the only way either Elle contacted him, which I don't think so because they don't really have the bond yet, and she would have contacted Mike first if anything else. And like they also kept like I know Mike kept the little hut up for her, because they haven't torn that down yet in the basement, but obviously there's something going on where Hop has information on Elle. They're probably in contact, at least giving her food, and she's taking it. So, yeah, he's definitely something happened within that month of him talking to people and actually getting more information of things going on.
Okay. Izzo,
Yeah,
season
I
2,
think,
what's going to happen?
I think aside from Will having to fight, the parasite or whatever demon has entered him, yeah, I think Mike's probably gonna reunite with Elle in some way. I don't think it's gonna happen like right away, but given the fact that the egos are left out, I think sooner than later you'll see
Okay.
11 make a comeback.
Good predictions. Now, another quick question. Favorite character of the season? Mine, I'm going to have to go with
Hopper,
Dustin.
probably. Hopper or Dustin for me.
You can only pick one. Who's it going to be?
I'd pick Hopper. If I'm only picking one.
Mitchell? Favorite character
Give
for season
me
1.
Joyce.
Damn,
Joyce?
to my pick.
Yeah,
Ooh.
give me Joyce.
Hey, you can pick the same character.
I'm
Yeah,
going
you-
Joyce too. She was.
Okay.
I thought she was fantastic.
Yeah.
Like
Now, her is the character or Winona Ryder is the actor?
both.
I think
Yeah, all
both.
the
Okay.
above.
Because the
Okay.
fact my reasoning for this was her conviction, even though she went through some shit, but man, she literally fought some demons to get her son back, and the shit she went through, I give her a lot of props, and the way that I don't remember the actress's name, but
Winona Ryder.
the way she acted as her was fantastic. I thought I was very much emotionally invested into her storyline.
Love it. Mitchell, any other thoughts or just a kind of same as Connor?
No. He
No?
wrapped it up perfectly.
Lovely.
Okay, last thing, we got ratings.
Yes, we
Yep.
do.
Let's do it.
Doing it now. All right, so we have Mitchell, can you quickly read me back what you had for your episode 6 and 7? I did have to insert them into the spreadsheet.
Episode 7, I know I had an 8.95.
Yep, that was same as Tommy's prediction.
And episode 6,
It was a 8.25.
8.24.
24. Yeah, I know it was over, not by much.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So, as a recap for listeners, the overall average of episode 6 is 7.91, and the average for episode 7 was a whopping 9.11.
Wow.
So, we had some
Wait,
high
who the
grades
hell
in
gave
our-
it 9.11?
You
did-
I gave it a 9.3.
Ah, okay.
I was
There we
very
go.
high in episode 7. And
There we go.
as the person who's first in the spreadsheet, I was extremely happy with this. I'll give it a 9.7.
Jesus.
It was a slam dunk. It was a very look,
Alright.
was it perfect? No. But it hit every note you wanted. Great build up. The climax it turned the whole episode into a frenzy, and then it kind of had that nice slowdown, and then that intrigue of like, oh, the love triangle shit again, and then the stupid slug. I'm like, the stupid slug from Barb. Oh god. But yeah, I thought it was very good, and the thing is, it kind of bookend nicely where they started the season with the D&D game, and they end the season pretty much with the D&D game. So it kind of bookended the whole season very nicely.
All valid reasons. Nick, what about you?
I think I would give it a 9.2. 9.2. Pretty much for the same reasons that Connor outlaid, honestly. But I felt like, I don't know what it is at this moment. I think something maybe was, I don't know, missing, or maybe something I just didn't like. I didn't agree with, but I think overall it was really good. So I would give it a 9.2. I think it was my favorite episode of the season, just because of everything that happened. You know, it's a culmination of so much. So yeah, 9.2.
You have a tie. You have a tie with episode 7, by the way.
Mitchell, why are you shaking your head?
Because my grade is a 9.2. 1.
0. Oh.
I had a feeling there was going to be another number.
9.21 is my grade on this one.
For the record,
so-
that is his highest grade of the whole season. And
I feel
Tommy,
like this is Nick's highest grade as well, right?
tied with episode 7.
Tied,
That's
yeah.
right. He gives conventional grades. You're never really going to get a tie from me. You're going to get legitimate opinions.
We'll find out. You did give it 9.004.
Sorry, I
It's
didn't
true,
get
but
my legitimate opinion.
I feel like it was your opinion is it's plenty legit. Sorry, that was the wrong choice of words. And I do apologize, but I just
Nick, your opinion doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
I feel like Tom, go ahead with your grade. I've lost the train of thought. It's gone.
All right. All right. You're good. I'm gonna go with a nice 9.4. Highest, I think it's probably my highest rating so far. It was definitely one of my favorite episodes of the season. I love Steve's comeback. I love the whole fight scene with Demogorgon. I love the fight scene at the end. The only thing that I don't like about this episode is it kind of spoils Eleven's sacrifice, because with the whole Hopper with the Eggos, it's like it shows it being a little bit of mysterious kind of thing, like what's going on, but it's like we all know Eleven's obsessed with Eggo waffles, so it's like you just sacrifice your main kind of curious character, and then it's like, oh wait, she's not really dead. So it kind of loses that whole. They could have a much cooler cliffhanger ending, but they just kind of went with a nice little book close ending, like Connor said, but which was good. But for a show that's continuing, I want a cliffhanger that makes me want to go, holy shit, what's going to happen next? And it just didn't have that.
Now the slug gave it to me. That thing was intriguing to me because
yes, Will's scene
it's not
did.
over. It's not over.
Will's scene left it as it's not over, which for a Netflix show that was like at the time that gave us hope that all right, there's probably going to be a season 2. Looking back, obviously we know what happened, so like, but just rewatching, it's like there was no what's going to happen next. We know something's going to happen to Will. It's just a matter of what. And we know 11 didn't die and that she's going to come back because we see Hopper with the waffles. It didn't have that cool ending that makes you want season 2 to come out the next day. So that's why I didn't give it like a solid 10. But overall, I still love the episode.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. So average is a 9.38. My score definitely bumped that up. But overall, though, like even if I was excluded from that, the average is still a 9.3 or 9.27 if I'm ballparking that correctly. But still, quite a high score for that final episode for the season finale of season 1.
Yeah.
This episode has reached 100, an hour and 33 minutes, not 100.
Actually, that's a record long for us. So
very close to 100 minutes, actually.
Yeah.
So I was not too far off of that one. Anything else before we wrap this one up that was full of many tangents and wonderful walks through the woods?
I got nothing else interesting to add. Stories.
I'm happy. This season was good. I'm excited for you guys to start watching season 2 next week. So a whole new story to unlock, and I think you guys will definitely like it. Season 2 is probably one of my favorite, with the exception of like 2 episodes.
How many episodes are in season 2, if I might ask?
I think they're all the same. I think they're all
8.
I think.
Okay, I'm just updating my spreadsheet real quick. All right.
No, I lied. It's 7 episodes.
7. Okay, I was right the first time. Look at me. Right. With that, let's close it out. Thank you for listening to our first season recap, or first season of doing this with Stranger Things. Please follow our socials. I think it's just Stranger Nerds on Instagram, and then all sites, I believe.
Yep.
So please take a look, interact, let us know what you guys think. Love your feedback. And I think we're good here. We'll hopefully see you guys next week. Enjoy your day.
Enjoy your day. What the hell am I going to do with the rest of my day?
Oh, yeah. So it's
12:36.
I'm going to bed.
What am I going to do with the rest of my day?
Their day is going. Our days is ending.
In the words of Ron Burgundy, stay classy out there.
Go have a nice lunch and go to a movie. And... No, I'm going to fucking sleep.
All right. Take a nice power nap and hit up the matinee.
All right. And with that, have a good one.